18 injured in plane crash at Pearson Airport, it was like a strange dream. The crash forced Pearson to close for more than 2 hours, delaying flights and diverting at least 46 planes to airports in Ottawa, Montreal, and elsewhere across the country. At least 18 people were injured Monday afternoon, including 3 critically, when a Delta Airlines flight carrying 80 people from Minneapolis crashed at Toronto Pearson International Airport, leaving passengers dangling upside down from their seats and a mangled, charred fuselage on the runway of Canada's busiest airport. Passengers fled the plane, missing at least one wing, as it laid upside down and was being hosed down by fire trucks. The crash forced Pearson to close for more than 2 hours, delaying flights and diverting at least 46 planes to airports in Ottawa, Montreal, and elsewhere across the country. Delays will continue for days as 2 of Pearson's 5 runways remain closed, according to Deborah Flint, CEO of the Greater Toronto Airports Authority. The cause of the crash is not yet known. Todd Aitken, fire chief at Pearson, said the runway was dry and there were no crosswinds. Canada's Transportation Safety Board is investigating, and the U.S. Federal Aviation Administration is sending investigators to Toronto. Harminder Singh Chauhan, a Toronto plane spotting enthusiast, watched the crash from his post about 200 meters from runway 23. As soon as it hit the ground, I could see that it went into flames and dragged along the ground, said Chauhan. It was a nightmare to see in front of your eyes. You can't imagine this happening. Passenger Peter Carlson, seated by the window near the wing, described the impact as being smacked into a wall and thrown sideways. In an interview with The Star, he said the plane slid and slid and slid before it came to a halt, and he was upside down, suspended by a seatbelt. Carlson, a paramedic from Northfield, Minn, checked to ensure he was mobile, unfastened his seatbelt, and then assessed the people around him. Moving back and forth, he tended to a little boy who was hurt and a middle-aged woman with serious injuries. Between caring for other passengers, Carlson said he managed to send a quick text to his wife telling her, "I love you, and I love our kids." Minutes later, he and the other injured passengers escaped. He gave the injured middle-aged woman his coat, and the passengers retreated from the site. Carlson said they heard an explosion shortly after, and the fire trucks arrived. For a brief time, they were standing in the open, with heavy winds and blowing snow. Passenger John Nelson told CNN it was a typical flight, until the plane hit the runway super hard, went sideways, and a big fireball was visible out the left side. Another passenger, Pete Kukov, said, "We were sideways, and then we were upside down, hanging like bats." Nelson said he unbuckled himself as the plane smelled of jet fuel. "We tried to get out of there as quickly as possible," he told CNN. "Even now I smell like jet fuel." "I was just in a plane crash," another passenger said in a video posted to social media. "Oh my God." As officials on the ground clambered to respond, air traffic controllers directed planes to pull up and go around. "Just so you're aware, there are people outside walking around the aircraft," one controller said, according to archives reviewed by The Star. "Yeah, we've got it," another man responds. "The aircraft is upside down and burning." 2 people were taken by air ambulance to St. Michael's Hospital, and 1 was taken by ground ambulance to sick kids, according to Peel Regional Paramedic Services Supervisor Lawrence Saindon. The plane, a Bombardier CRJ-900 jet, was carrying 76 passengers and 4 crew. It had 22 Canadians on board, according to Flint. Hubert Sue's flight landed at Pearson Airport Terminal 3 at 2:05 p.m., arriving from Vancouver. As the plane was taxiing down the runway, he saw another aircraft in the distance speeding like a fireball, with thick black smoke rising high behind it. "My mind went blank at first, and I felt deeply unsettled, not knowing what was happening," he said. He added that many people on his flight saw the scene, and there were gasps of shock. A woman sitting next to him began to sob quietly. A video he filmed through the cabin window shows, across a stretch of snow, thick black smoke rising like a mushroom cloud, stretching for hundreds of meters. Guelph resident Brett Aoyajian, 50, was waiting to board his Porter flight to Mexico when he saw the damage left behind by the crash. "I didn't even realize what I was looking at when I first saw it," Aoyajian said. "Then I realized That's the engine, wheels, and then a wing over here and another wing there. The crash is the latest in a string of aviation incidents across North America. In late January, an American Airlines jet collided in midair with a U.S. Army helicopter in Washington, D.C., killing all 67 PO.